Good morning, beautiful people. Star Lashelle from Eccentric Vintage Boutique, and welcome to today's Fashion Coffee Talk. So today we're going to touch on my boutique, Eccentric Vintage, and where the name came from and what my brand stands for. So Eccentric Vintage Boutique is a boutique curated by me, Star Lashelle, and it comes from how my style has developed over time and a reflection of my personal style. My style is very eccentric, eclectic, colorful. I love textures and I love playing with different colors, and I also love the vintage silhouette and the vintage um, flow of the different dresses and skirts that they wore, like in the 1950s, to be specific, with the A-line and the circle skirts. And also I have a little bit of influence from the 1920s with the sequins and just the glam of the 1920s. So I kind of took both things and meshed it together, and over time I hope to curate collections as a reflection of my style. And so that's where Eccentric Vintage came from. My brand is, I do try to be sustainable, so I am very mindful with my collections. My pieces are usually one off, so it's usually one of one. Or if I do pieces where people can order multiple of, it's made to order. I also use scrap fabric. I upcycle pieces. I use gifted fabric from when people like to gift me fabric. So I really try to use what I have, and also I love to do a lot of handmade pieces. The majority of the stuff that I do sell is handmade. And if I do things where I've ordered online, it's usually like small accessories. So sometimes I may order charms to make bracelets or earrings. So I do try to be mindful with how much I order if I do order from wholesale companies. And so I started off, basically, I went to school for fashion design, and there's a bee, which I hope he's not trying to bother me. And over time, I used to have like a blog, and then I um, created a brand called Once Upon a Time Boutique, and I, I loved the name for Once Upon a Time Boutique, but it was really long. And so when I would do shows, like, just it didn't flow nicely, and then also it put me in a specific category. So a lot of the pieces that I would design would be whimsical and fairy tale inspired, and there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you want to kind of like step outside of the box and do things that are different. So if you have a very niche name, that's kind of hard. And then your fashion never stays this, like, your style and fashion never stays the same. It's always developing, always growing, always changing. And so as a business owner, as you grow, a lot of businesses rebrand, and that's healthy, that's good. That means that you're changing. And so, excuse me, I also wanted to have a designer name. I didn't really have a designer name. I just would go by Star, or when most people would announce me, they would say Star Girl, which is my real name, and I love my real name, but I wanted something just kind of like easy to pronounce, something that flowed nicely, something that had like an elegant touch to it. And Star Lashelle, that's my nickname, Star, and then Lashelle is my middle name, and that just, like, I love the flow of that, and it just sounds better as a designer name. And so that's my designer name, Star Lashelle, and then Eccentric Vintage is the name of my boutique. And so I have started curating like seasonal collections. That's something that's always been on my wish list, and it's been really fun. And I'm planning to do a holiday Christmas collection, and so I do want to incorporate more vintage style silhouettes. So I've been looking at some fabric that has kind of like a vintage feel to it, and I want to do obviously my circle skirts, but I also want to include underskirts as well within the collections. And so I've been working on that, and I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little like snapshot of my boutique and what it stands for and where the name came from. And yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. And until next time, dream big and peace.